Today is the day of Tigga's annual medical, otherwise known as the MOT. And whilst he's been MOT'd, I am gonna go for a little ride on, I believe, a Suzuki DL 650 V-Strom. Very excited about it. I used to have a V-Strom 650 and I did 45,000 miles on it. So it was the first generation V-Strom. So I'm very keen to see how they've improved it, if they've improved it, or even what generation it is that I'm going to be riding, and just see if my memory hasn't been tinted with rose coloured glasses. So hopefully all the cameras will work fine, and I'll see you when we get there, hopefully. So, quick blast down the A14, and here we are, Ipswich, almost at Orwell Motorcycles. Beautiful sunny day. Don't know what. I thought you might do that. Still, I don't think we'll fit through here. But no harm in trying. Ooh. So here we are, DL 650 V-Strom in yellow, 2018. I like the look of them. A lot of people don't. It's quite different from the 2005 I had previously. This is quite a basic model. It's got no hand guards, no sump guard, anything like that. It does have a top box, but it's not a lot of money. So sitting on it straight away, dead comfy. Nice quiet. Dash is a lot more complicated than the model I had, which is not surprising. Let's see what it goes like. See if all the memories come flooding back. Woof woof woof. Oh, and it's full of gas. That's kind of them. I seem to recall from my old DL 650, that's around 210 miles, something like that. Definitely over 200 miles anyway. Of course, my old model had twin clocks. It had a regular speedo, whereas this has a digital speedo, but the analog rev counter, which is nice. Beautiful, so well balanced, so well balanced. Hope someone's got the heated grips on. I'll get those off. Don't want those on. Don't know how you turn them off. Got it on the lowest setting anyway. Yeah, not sure about the yellow, sort of like it. Could I live with it long term? Probably. It's practical colour for being seen, but yeah. So the aim is, at the moment, I want to get onto the A14 and just see what it's like on that, because this type of bike, I think, is generally bought by people who want something that's functional. It's going to be a commuter, it's going to do a bit of touring, it's going to get them backwards and forwards to work. It could be just a weekend tourer. It's cheap enough for that, it's economical, and I've done a fair few miles on my old model to up and full luggage, and it gets absolutely fine. And I won't do it with this bike, but if you wind it up, it goes a fair bit as well. Now, it is a V-twin. It's the same engine from the SV650, which is quite a sporty little bike. Getting on this does take me straight back to my old V-Strom. Not disappointed. It's so well balanced. Brakes are good. Obviously we've only been in town so far, and I know for filtering, because of the balance that it's got, it is excellent. I'm not going to do it now unnecessarily. Yeah, I've filtered miles and miles and miles on one. Admittedly not this generation, but if the old generation can do it. It does have traction control. Paul said as he goes out, he says, oh, it's got traction control. And I looked at him a little bit blank, and I thought, well, I'm not sure it really needs it, but if it helps, it helps. What it doesn't have, which I was disappointed, it's got heated grips, which is fine. I'm not a fan of heated grips. I don't know, maybe the way I hold the grips or something. Find it doesn't particularly keep my hands warm. But it doesn't have hand guards. I'm sure if you turned up and bought this bike and said, well, I'll buy it, but I want some hand guards, they'd probably put some on. Don't think they're particularly cheap, but I'm sure they'd put some on. Throw it in with the deal. This one's done 5,876 miles, and I've got to say, I did 45,000 miles, and on that 45,000 miles I did nothing other than change chain, sprocket, tyres, brake pads. Just before it went, it had a new battery, and I know that that bike is still on the road because ironically I saw it last year at a motorbike show. I saw it riding out, and I know it was definitely mine because it was easily identifiable. It was very different to a lot of the others. It had a bottom half fairing, and I also recognised the number plate because when I first saw it from the side I couldn't believe it, so I had to go and check it. So it's still going strong, so I don't know how many miles it's done. But there you go. So this, as far as I'm aware, has probably got another 45,000 miles before you're gonna start needing stuff, I would have thought. So buy a new one or buy this one. This one I think is priced at about £5,500. A new one is going to be just under 8, I think, for this basic model. I think you pay a bit more, you get the handguards, everything, but then you've got the running in malarkey to go on, and you've got those first services to sort out. Not with this. Servicing, I did all the servicing myself. I think I might have had the valves checked once, but that's about it. I don't think they needed anything doing, but let's see what it's like on the motorway. Maybe not this time. So yeah, so this is a bit boring for you, but we will get onto the country roads, and I might repeat myself, and if I do, I might do a bit of editing. Don't know what the turbulence is going to be like. Forgot to check the screen and what setting it's on. It's probably on its lowest setting, looking at it, which might mean we get quite a lot of turbulence, and the microphone won't work on the GoPro. Oh thanks, he's just cleaned his windscreen. So here we go. Very little buffeting. I'm hoping the microphone's working properly. I haven't got the visor fully down. Very comfortable, very steady, absolutely lovely. I mean, you've got to bear in mind as well, I've just clambered off Tigga, the Triumph Tigga 1050, and this just seems very, very stable. I like it a lot, very good. Would I have one? Yes, I think I would so far, based on this. Has my memory been rose tinted? Do you know what, I don't think it has. I think this bike is excellent. I don't know why they're not more popular. I know they are popular, but I don't know why people aren't shout and rave about them. I mean, people say, oh, you can't go off-road. Well, you can. I went off-road with mine. and I've seen lots of people in foreign climes doing incredible things with them, absolutely incredible things. So yeah, they go off-road, they go on motorways, they easily keep up with the traffic, easily got power to overtake, and we'll get to the back roads when I actually get to some. But my memory is that they're excellent. I had so much fun, but again, you don't trust your own memory, but from what I find out so far, this just seems, it might even seem better, which ironically it should. I mean, they've been making this bike now for 18 years, and in actual fact I reckon they've been making it more, because there was another model they made before this. It was something like a XF or an SF or 650 or something like that. I don't think they made it in this country or for this country, and it was a single. It wasn't the same engine, but the shape, and you know, I think these could possibly be responsible for the whole adventure bike. Oh, got a little bit too quick coming down the hill there. The whole adventure bike fad that it is now. I mean, it is so comfortable and so at home doing this. It's just incredible. So comfortable. It's planted. What mine used to do, it did used to suffer from turbulence. They've obviously improved the aerodynamics at the front. Don't know what they've done, but they've definitely done something, because it doesn't have that wobble. I mean, it was nothing major anyway, not for me, but I believe some people complained about it, some people didn't like it, felt it made the front end go a bit light. But this is so stable, so solid. 12 volt takeoff, obviously now you would expect it's probably just a USB, but 12 volt takeoff's more use, to be honest, I think anyway. You can attach more things to it. There we go, let's just see if we can go a little bit quicker, see what it's like. Get away from the turbulence of that lorry. It glides, absolutely glides, so easy. You know, for a commuter or a tourer, this would be absolutely perfect. You know, why have something bigger, heavier? And that's what I find with Tigga. I love Tigga, but it's too heavy. He is too heavy. There's no doubt about that. Excellent bike, but too heavy. This feels perfect. I don't feel like I've lost anything with this. It's just right. But then again, you know, 18 years to get it right. It ought to be right. And I think they probably got it just about right when they first made it. So they've had 18 years to perfect it, not get it right, but to perfect it. I'm starting to feel quite excited about it. I'm hoping this need to come off here, so I'll just pop back in here. The mirrors, you know, just outstanding. I can see my elbows, but there's plenty of mirror around them just to see anyway. So if you've got big elbows, this is the bike for you, because you can see your elbows and behind you. absolutely perfect. The sound, the roads are a bit skatey because they're damp and everything, but the bike just fills you full of confidence. Absolutely fills you full of it. Oops, lorry broken down. Oh dear. Yeah, handling is absolutely superb, and I think even if you're coming off a sports bike looking for a commuter or a tourer, you're going to be pleasantly surprised. Pleasantly surprised, I think. Absolutely gorgeous. I love it. I'm sold already. I'm in my head. I'm already processing. Do I get rid of Tigga and get a V-Strom? Oh my god. This is terrible. Terrible idea. And I think Mark Orwell knew exactly what would happen if I tried one of these. I mean, I did consider they didn't actually have any, but I did consider it at the time when I bought Tigga, but they didn't have any. So, I mean, this is just so easy. We've got the ultimate test coming up, of course, now. We've got the road down into the marina, which if you've seen any of my other videos, you will know that it's quite bouncy. Oh no. So much fun. Not the quickest thing, but no slouch either. Puts you in such a commanding view of the road. Now, I've never ridden a Royal Enfield Himalayan. It is on my bucket list to do, but I think they're about 4,500, a bit more if you want top box and stuff. So it's about £1,000 less than this, and I just think this has got to be the better bike. People say, well, you can't do this and you can't do that, which you could do with the Himalayan, And I don't know, I've never ridden it, so I'm judging it a little harshly, I think. But I don't know, you're just getting a different bike, a league up, I think. Yes, it's second hand, but like I say, your servicing costs are going to be nil. It's exceptionally good, and it's going to do an awful lot that your Himalayan won't. It just won't. Like the trip I've just done down the A14, for example. So let's see what the V-Strom's like down your typical Suffolk road. I already know from the road down to the marina, it handles the bumps really well. Certainly as well as Tigga does. But it is so well balanced. That's what I'd say about it. It's so well balanced. Certainly going back to the senses about, you know, what bikes we like and how we feel about an object or a person or a machine is how it makes us feel. And to decide that, we use all our senses. So the sight, I've already spoken about the sight. It's a good looking bike. It's a good looking adventure bike. If you don't like adventure bikes, then you're not going to get past that part of it. What we got here? Oh, this is going to be interesting. Are we going to squeeze past, or we can get out of the way here? What's he doing? Yeah, I mean, you won't pick that up. That's quite a steep hill there. Just pulled up it, no trouble at all. Yeah, so back to the senses. So to touch, to feel, it feels quality. It does. I know they're built down to a price, supposedly, but it definitely feels quality. Functional. It's got a few gizmos on if you like that sort of thing. The clock's not too inoffensive. I like to see a round dial, I've got to admit. So for me that's pleasing to the eye. Lots of numbers and things. I'm not a numbers person. But it's nice to see some. That's about all I can say about that. So to touch and feel, it feels good. It feels like it's going to last, and I know from experience that they do. I've had a lot of Suzukis in my life. I don't recall having any issues with them. Well, none that weren't of my own making. So sound, yeah, it's okay. It sounds better than a lot of bikes. Certainly sounds better than the Versa, I think. It's got a little bit of a sound similar to the Tigga, which is bizarre because the Tigga isn't a V-twin, obviously, it's a triple, but it has that same sort of whine to the engine and a bit of a burble from the exhaust. But you know, it's not a sports bike, it's a touring bike or a commuter. but it does go well. It goes very well. So it picks up pretty good, and when you wind the throttle back a little bit, and I'm not going too crazy, it's not my bike, it sounds lovely. Not lovely in a W800 or a Triumph sense, but nice, very nice. It makes me feel nice, it makes me feel comfortable, it makes me feel secure, and all these things are important. It is exceptionally comfortable. It is very comfortable. Struggling there. Of course, the one sense that we can't really use is taste, and I'm not gonna stick my tongue on the bike. But that does leave us to the sixth sense, and I think the sixth sense is the sum of all the other senses. That's what gives us a sixth sense. Picking up the environment, the smell. We haven't done the smell. The bikes do have a smell, the engines do have a smell. Tigga smells very different to the Bonneville. Most of the smell we get, obviously, comes from our helmet, and there's nothing better than the smell of a nice new helmet. But I did have a sniff, I've got to say, I did have a sniff of the engine. And yeah, it smells good, it smells like an engine, it smells like an engine should. Couldn't smell oil, couldn't smell water, it didn't smell over hot, it smelled warm. But yeah, I did have a sniff. And it wasn't found lacking. I mean, on this A14, it is such a nice bike, it really is. If you wanted one of these to commute any distance and you've got big roads, this is the bike, because it's going to be nimble enough when you get into town. It's so well balanced, you can tootle along at 1 or 2 miles an hour. You know, you're not going to be in danger of falling over. You don't have to keep putting your feet down. Just pop the visor up a little bit, because it's quite dirty and it's rattling today for some reason. I don't know why, but yeah, I like it. I like it a lot. It's not the bike I'm looking for my perfect bike, for that bike that just ticks all the boxes, makes me feel complete. It's certainly a bike to replace the Triumph Tigga, and I think anyone, and I haven't ridden a Triumph Tigga 660, but they're gonna have to go some to beat this, and that's why it's been in production for so long. I mean, any longer and it's going to become a retro bike itself. If I had one of my own, if this was my own bike and I had some slightly chunkier tyres on, then I'd take it off-road and I'd show you exactly what you can do with it off-road. I'd want the crash bars on and stuff, but you know, if you want to do a bit of green laning, you could definitely do it on one of these. I don't care what the pundits say. Probably more so on one of these than you could on a Bonneville Scrambler. And then you could clean the mud off it and cruise to work on it on the Monday. A very, very good all-rounder. But you don't need me to say that. You know, thousands and thousands of these are sold, and I'm sure there's hundreds of videos on there, but they're all videos of them when they're new. This isn't new. This is £5,500. You might get it cheaper, I don't know. Don't know what your negotiating skills are like. They do have another one, a black one, which I was sort of hoping might be the one that they let me out on, but because it's got handguards and it's got a centre stand. That's the downside to this one, it doesn't have the centre stand. But it is a superb bike. If you're in the market for a bike for whatever reason, other than a track day bike maybe, then this could be the bike. I can definitely vouch for it. I don't know what it's been looked after like for the last 5,000 miles, but it looks in pretty tip-top condition, and I know I abused mine for 45,000 miles, barely cleaned it. But I did, you know, I put protectorant on, I looked after it in that sense. But you know what, I think I'm going to pop down to the next road and come in the back way. So yeah, anyway, yeah, so I'm enjoying, can you tell I'm enjoying it too much. I wonder if they'd mind if I went home on it. Oh no, I've got Tigga there. I'd leave Tigga there, he'd be worried. He'd be worried about Bertie and who would look after Bertie. Very nice, very solid bike. Excellent. Can't say no more than that. I don't know what else to say. It's got the wide handlebars, it's forgiving on the corners and the turns, and you know, we've not got perfect, just accelerate to let this car on. So it would suit someone as a beginner bike, you know, once they've passed their test. Or even before, I don't know. I'm totally lost with what driving licenses you need nowadays. But certainly nice and easy. And if you're a tall person, I know a lot of people feel insecure as a tall person riding a small bike. I'm not one of those people. I don't particularly care. I like what I like, and yeah, this bike makes me feel good. It makes me feel good. It makes me feel in command. I'm not gunning it, it's not my bike, I don't want to get a speeding ticket on it, not that I'd ever do that. So I mean, it's just solid. It is a solid bike, and have they improved it? I have in 13 years by the time they brought this. I think it is 3rd generation. Is this the junction? Might not be. I think it is. Let's have a look. Maybe it's not. Oh yes it is. I remember this bend. It just so smooth. It just feels like you could handle, except you can't see for the sun. Sorry. Feels like you can handle anything. We'll go up this way. Right, in 4th, pulls away, no trouble at all, chugs away. It's got a bit of a chug about it. That's what I used to like about it, I remember now. Funny how your memory comes back. Yeah, my visor's rattling, I don't know why, it's annoying me. Maybe it's telling me to buy a new helmet while I'm here. So smooth. So nice. They've got to be one of the best bikes ever made. You know, so people say jack of all trade, master of none, but I think this is probably master of everything. It's not going to be a race bike, obviously, but it can do everything else. Yes, I am biased. Yes, I did have one of the 1st generation ones, but I don't think that changes anything. I mean, fuel gauge doesn't seem to have budged. I hope there is fuel in it. Air temperature's coming down, you can see 8 degrees it's saying now. Seems like a lovely day. Don't know what the chill factor is. At least I'm going to get it back under 6,000 miles, which I'm sure they'll be pleased with. But what a lovely little ride out. Lovely little ride out. I would have tried an overtake just so you can see its acceleration. Hopefully you've seen from other parts of the video. It goes. You want to overtake something, you're not going to have any trouble. There's not going to be many cars you're going to struggle to overtake, that's for sure. In terms of looks, I think it is a handsome bike. You know, obviously it's not a retro bike, it's not a roadster, it's not a sport bike. It wants to go, it wants to please, and it wants to handle, it wants to go around the corners. definitely. So if you like a bike that you can throw about a bit, I think you'll be able to do that with this. I know I did with mine. But this is an excellent bike. You know, there's this fascination now for complete digital clocks. They go wrong. They do go wrong. They get water in and they go wrong. And when it might not matter so much when you're buying it brand new and you take it back under warranty, but believe me, when you start trying to sell it second hand, people are going to be very cautious about it. Some of those digital units cost more than the bike does. Keep it simple is what I say. If it's doing something clever electronically with a back wheel to stop me falling off, I don't need to know that, just do it. I'm happy not knowing. So if you're in the market for it, Orwell Motorcycles, there's not a mark on it, you know, it's coming up 3-4 years old, not sure which because I can't see because the number plate's covered up. But it's only done coming up to 6,000 miles, and it's immaculate. It runs like an absolute dream, runs like it probably did when it was brand new. If you're going to buy a new one, save your money, buy a used one, because I'm telling you, you'll not have any trouble with it. Okay, thank you very much, Mr. V-Strom. There you go. What a beautiful bike. And I can tell you, if you buy from here, they are amazing guys. They even help you even if you don't buy a motorbike from them. They've got excellent range, and they've got this sat there, and it needs to do some exercise.